Hello, spiritual friends. Today we're talking about how to overcome a breakup.
Yes, and this one can go pretty deep. I'm going to read one of the questions that came in, and there's a lot that can come up with a breakup. The energy of grief, for one, there's a lot of different aspects, things to kind of work out within ourselves to move forward in our lives. So the question that came in was, I'm going through some difficult times in my life. A 10-year relationship broke 7 months ago, and it has been very hard for me to heal from it or move forward. Although I'm working on myself and I have welcomed healing, it has been a process. We're still in communication and still love each other, but nothing is ever certain with, and she wrote, my boyfriend. He comes from a long-time place of brokenness and was unfaithful to me in our relationship, which has made all this that we find ourselves in all the worse. I need direction, clarity. I need to love myself and not allow the fear of not having him in my life control me any longer. Any words, any advice, any thoughts are greatly appreciated. So thank you for sharing your heart with us. I know that that in itself takes courage. And Michael and I are just going to go through a few things. One thing that did strike me is that you did call him your current boyfriend. So we can talk about that too. So let's get into it. Okay, so I have quite a few things to share on this. I'm just going to start with that piece in your question of referring to him as your boyfriend. So it sounds like things are complicated in that perhaps there hasn't been a complete breakup or move away. So it sounds like you're feeling confused, somewhat entangled in this situation. And it also sounds like your higher wisdom feels and knows and senses that it's your highest good to move on. It sounds like that from your question and why you're asking it. And it can be challenging with long-term relationships. All of us tend to have a lot of unconscious grief even. And anytime there's any sort of loss, it can bring up that energy, not just from that particular situation, but from any other experiences in your soul's journey. And that can feel overwhelming. We can also we can have fear of even feeling that grief of loss. The good news is, though, to remember that it's an energy. You are not the grief. The grief is an energy, a vibration that can come over you like a cloud and feel like it's you and like there's no way out of it. But remember, with your higher wisdom and heart, that it's an energy. And one of the keys is not to resist it. The more we resist anything, for that matter, or any negative emotion, the more it will persist. We create a stress response, and we're not able to allow it to move through us. And so to start with, go ahead and just do a practice now and in your own time, sitting quietly in your own sacred space. Just allow your palms to be face up and just have an inner prayer that I allow this grief, this loss, this fear to be. I allow it to be. I don't resist it. I allow it to be, and I allow it to move through me. And I offer it to a higher power. I offer it up. So you're consciously welcoming, allowing, accepting those negative emotions and offering them up. Sometimes we have to keep doing this, keep coming back to letting that energy flow and be released. And that touches on another aspect, especially with really overwhelming emotions, negative emotions, attachments, experiences, and losses like this one, to welcome in the help of a higher power in your own understanding, and to feel in your heart it's okay if you feel you can't handle this on your own, and you have that prayer that I can't handle this on my own. I welcome in the help of a higher power. And that is a beautiful thing to do, because you're calling in so much light and so much love and so much healing. And you're opening yourself to your highest path, to your truth. Because it sounds like this situation was one that isn't in resonance with your full brilliance, your truth, your beautiful, shining heart and being in the world. It sounds like this relationship was really in this vibration, this energy of brokenness and lack of truth, lack of trust, and that is not your highest. You are beautiful, and your deepest core and truth, as you sense it, is to live with love and self-respect and honor and truth and dignity and grace and all of these beautiful qualities. And so you can also see this as a celebration that you are stepping into a new reality, a new experience in which you're ready to surround yourself with supportive, loving, and beautiful energy, beautiful company, beautiful support, and you're welcoming that into your life. And so just to recap this aspect, realize that the energy maybe you're feeling, or the energy that's up for you is this grief, this heaviness. It's an energy. Release resistance, allow to move through. Take the help of a higher power. You've got this. And celebrate and welcome in the new you, the new chapter, the new beauty, the new grace. And with this, you can even just do a little inventory in your life along with this past partner. What other relationships are draining or a negative influence for you? What other activities, what other situations are you ready to release and let go of? And what are you ready to welcome in? And you can explore that and have fun with it and see what comes your way. You might have an invitation to go to something, or you see a flyer for some sort of new gathering, or there's something in your world that invites you to a new place with new supportive energy. So welcome that in as well.
Alright, so what I'm about to say may be a little bit unconventional and shocking. In relationships, there are so many books that talk about how to improve a relationship, how to fix a relationship, how to save a relationship. And the premise, the idea behind most of these books is that you can, with enough energy, with enough effort, with enough time, with enough focus, you can go straight into that problem, you can look it in the eye, and you can fix that terrible problem and make it work, right? And it sounds great, why not fix something, yeah? What I've realized personally, and what I've noticed coaching many other people with their relationships, is that some relationships, some dynamics are simply never going to work. And you can put years and years and years into trying to make it work, and it won't work. It's not going to work. And the only solution is to end it. It might sound shocking, but that's just how it is. So some situations, some dynamics are just not going to work. And that's because when you have two people, one person has the whole bunch of stuff that they're interested in, their values, other person has their values, right? And then you've got the context of both these people's lives, and they've got their life mission. And you put them together And if they're not aligned, they can sabotage each other. It's kind of like two elements. If you do science experiments and you put two different elements together, sometimes it creates something lovely and healthy, healing. Sometimes it explodes and blows up and causes all this chaos. So it depends on the dynamic. And a quick story that you might find interesting. When I was in a relationship many years ago, I was in a relationship with somebody who we had problems, let's be honest. And we used to have hours and hours and hours, hours and hours of discussions to try and sort out our differences, And they normally lasted about 2.5 hours. We had the conversation, okay, here's a problem, here's what we can do about it. And I was under the impression, if I put in enough time and energy, then it would all sort itself out. So we'd have a 2-hour meeting, we'd talk about our issues and we'd come out the other end maybe a little bit better off, but really nothing had changed. Then the same stuff would come up and we'd have another 2-hour session and then another 2-hour session, another 2-hour session. And I remember after about, 10, 15 of these 2-hour sessions, it's a lot of work, a lot of time, I realized nothing's happening. So what I decided to do is get an astrologer to do a compatibility reading. You can go to a Vedic astrologer, a Western astrologer, and they can tell you, here's this person's chart, here's this person's chart, when they come together, what is going on here. And lo and behold, it was a problem, a big problem. It wasn't going to work. It was never going to work. For a number of reasons. I didn't need an astrologer to tell me that. It was pretty obvious anyway. But it's kind of useful to have that outside perspective on it. What I decided to do, and this applies to someone in a relationship or if you want to get into a new relationship, what we decided to do is to write a list of our values. What do you value? What do you care about? Our values are not theoretical. We value the things that we spend time in. So someone might say, my values are peace and joy and family and this sort of stuff, right? And you look at their life and they're not very joyful, they're not very peaceful, they never spend time with their family. They're fake values, they're theoretical values. Our real values are the things that we actually do. So for example, if somebody spends a lot of time looking after their health, they must value health. If someone spends a lot of time eating junk food, they must value junk food. If someone spends a lot of time with family, they must value family, right? So you can see your values based on what you actually do. So what I did is both of us wrote down together separately. She had her list and I had my list of what do we value. We wrote down our top values in order of priority. Here's what I value the most, here's what she values the most. Then we came together and we compared our lists. We had them there next to each other. And it became very, very obvious that our values were incompatible. Because if someone values something that the other person doesn't value at all, and all the values are all off, or they're the wrong order, or they're not even on the same page, what happens is two people come together, and if someone values health and the other person doesn't cooperate with health, then it sabotages the person who's into health. The other person's not into it and they might get them into unhealthy things. So whatever we value, it's much, much, much easier if the other person values the same things. That's not to say that each couple is going to have exactly the same values in exactly the same order. That's going to be unlikely. But if it's completely off, then it's just simply a sabotage and there's nothing you can do about it except end. So if you decide that indeed it is time to end this relationship, then it's really important to do it consciously, to do it with a lot of love and a lot of good feeling. Because when you're in a relationship with someone for a long time, obviously you care about them a lot, and your life has been involved with this person, this soul. And you obviously were with them for a reason, and there's a lot of good things that you've gone through together. So there's, that we have to appreciate, have that sacred gratitude and awareness and reverence, and consciously end that relationship with some sort of ceremony. And I was advised to do this by my friend Taylor, and she mentioned to me that what would be good is to do a ceremony where, in our case, we met on the beach and we wrote a letter for each other, which we gave to the other person, and we gave each other a gift. And we had these coins that we had because something we bought together, and we went to the ocean and we threw those coins into the ocean to demonstrate this is completion, this is the end of that chapter. Because when you don't do that, and I've had other situations where I haven't been able to do that, there's this unfinished business that kind of lingers in the back of our mind, and it just feels something's not quite finished. So if it's possible, then it's really good to say, thank you from the heart, and what are you grateful for, and what have you learned, and what have you gone through, and what has been the benefit of the situation, and giving blessings, giving thanks to the other person, and then moving away very, very consciously so that you can both get on with your life and the other person get on with their life, and you can move forward into something new. So that completion ceremony can really, really help to make things feel as if they are done, rather than it being lingering at the back of the mind. So what I recommend you do if you're in a relationship trying to break up is to look at the values and see it for yourself. And then also, if you're going to get into a new relationship, that you know what your values are beforehand, so that when you get into new relationships, you don't let the infatuation and the whole hormones and the whole falling in love business cloud your perception, which probably happens anyway, but at least you have a list to fall back on. And when values are aligned, then it means you have cooperation. In relationships, it's really important that you're like a team, that you cooperate with each other, because otherwise, what's the point of being in a relationship? But if you want to be in a dynamic relationship where you actually are on the same mission, on the same dharma, serving each other, serving the world, doing whatever it is, and you're better together, then you need to have similar values, or it's not going to work. So get your list down. Remember that some relationships can't be saved, and the only thing you can do is end it. Doesn't mean you don't care about them. You can have a lot of love and a lot of care, and really wish the best for people. I have nothing but good feelings towards everyone I know. I actually don't have grudges towards anyone, and I wish everyone well. But it doesn't mean I'm going to be a good match for a lot of people. I'm not going to be a good match for hardly anyone, realistically. So, and neither are you. We need to find the right people for us to spend most of our time with. So love is one thing. Being in a relationship is something else. Be very, very careful about this, because like Buddha said, because being with the wrong people literally can ruin your life. So it's really, really, really critical to get this right. There's many more fish in the sea.
So basically, Michael's saying there are so many more fish in the sea. There are so many new energies that are ready to come in, that you're ready to embrace and thrive with in a new chapter. So it's very exciting.
It's very exciting. You have a wonderful opportunity to experience something new and different and better, and actually get what you want in your life. Because something doesn't work out, we can't expect everything to work out, but there's new opportunities, new experiences, and they are waiting for you. So when you have that enthusiasm and that awareness, then it actually seems quite fun rather than terrible.
Exactly. So see it as fun, and remember what we talked about in this video: releasing, not resisting the negative energy that can come with loss of any sort, and welcome in that beautiful, shining, glowing light that is just bursting through your door, wanting to come into your life.
Newness.
So Thank you for your question, and I'm sure the many other souls it will serve. And we're wishing you every blessing on this new chapter. If you feel someone else needs to hear this message, then share it with them and leave us a comment. Let us know if this has been helpful for you, what other questions you have, whether it's on this topic or another one. And we would love to create a video, help you out, share some insights. It's a joy and an honor. So thank you for connecting. Thank you for this beautiful question. And may this answer help you to move forward and any other soul dealing with this. We deeply wish you an experience of stepping into happiness, stepping into light, and letting the past stuff go. And hey, we always learn from it. You'll look back and I'm sure there's been so much wisdom gained, so much experience gained. So everything truly is good. Okay? Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste and many blessings.